is still biggest challenge. So how to move all the system, how to motivate all the people, take them together and work for the collective solution. So yes, and I'm very sure that you have implemented some of the programs, some of the initiatives which had support of the community, which mobilized the system. So we would also like to hear one example or couple of examples regarding the positive and successful implementation of these initiatives, so that it can be motivation for all of us.
Um, I think, most of my work, deals with education. So there are a lot of wonderful examples, of education. So we were implementing a project around the Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. And this was a project on building conservation awareness to develop community support for, parks and supporting tiger conservation. When we started the programs in these schools, it's almost 15 years now, we were surprised that local children, had not even been to the park. It's of course common practice now, but it was not then. They were very aware of their environment in a way, that rural children do, but the scientific importance, I think, was not still there. So the conservation education program that we started, it firstly focused on changing their bare classrooms into a very vibrant place by displaying pictures and posters and drawings of the biodiversity that they had around them, right? So all the wonderful birds, the trees, the insects, basically developing a sense of pride in saying that, okay, I live in this very wonderful place that has all these wonderful creatures around me. And so during one of these visits, when I was visiting the school, a little boy came to me with a caterpillar on his hand. And it was a beautiful caterpillar. I still can visualize it, when I'm talking about it. And it had raised its head. And he asked me, Madam ji, iska naam kya hai? And frequently being asked by students about questions like these, my mind started working, in terms of taxonomy and thinking, oh, what is the name of this caterpillar? But the teacher who was standing next to me, cut this thought process by saying, देखिए, madam जी, देखिए, आपको नाम पूछ रहा है. And I looked at him and he says, पहले तो इसको कुचल देते थे, उनको मजा आता था कुचल देने में, but आज ये आपको नाम पूछ रहा है. I think this to me was one of the greatest successes of that program, where we could develop this kind of interest where the child wanted to know more about things around him, even if it was a tiny little caterpillar, right? So I think this to me was one of the most touching moments in education.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, so if the people feel pride, and I feel that instead of just saying the negative things, so this is negative, you should not do that, do not throw it here and there and all that. Instead of that, if we focus on the positive things also, so this is our pride, so this is the positive thing, this is good thing that you are doing, and appreciate it and please do it. So I think that can have the transformation for the people, right? So this is
Absolutely.
wonderful story of transformation. Yeah, so looking forward, if I want to ask you, what is your hope, or where do you see the hope in the future? So what would be your answer?
Okay. So in an era where you are, constantly bombarded with, this is the status of the earth and this is what's happening and there's water shortage here and there's climate change happening, you might think that, it's very difficult to be optimistic. But I see a light in this because this means that we now have data and we can base our decisions based on sound science, right? I think that this is an extremely positive step ahead. So we have the data, we know what is wrong, and we, I think, have the ability to fix this as well. So I'm quite optimistic, that we are going to be there. So on a more serious note, I think that, if you look at it, we've never had the kind of policies that we have today, the kind of programs that governments are implementing across the world. the kind of movements that we are having across the world. Young people are being heard. We have renewable energies today as one of the cheapest source of energies. We have ordinary citizens becoming scientists and contributing data that's being used for decision making. We have a host of technologies that looks at fixing different environmental problems. We have industries that have integrated sustainability into their design process and also the end of the product life cycle processes. We have tons of environmental literature. We have social media, that enables us to connect with people across the world. So how can I not be optimistic? So this means that we have everything in place that we possibly can, to take individual action and also to make a difference. So yes, I'm very optimistic about the fact that we as a species will realize that our preservation depends upon the preservation of the life support systems. And most importantly, we have the SDG goals. So which propels governments both at the international, national and local level to act for sustainability. So yes, there's lots to look forward to in terms of optimism.
Yeah. So I also felt very positive because yes, thanks to the technology, we are able to discuss and we are able to record this, and it will be helpful for many thousands of students and professionals to learn. Yeah. So, but I think for the newer generation or the younger generation, I would say there is one new term is coming called as eco-anxiety, or the stress when students study all about this environmental destruction and all that. So I'm very sure there is some way to handle this eco-anxiety. And as you are a senior person working in this field, so how you handle the eco-anxiety?
Yeah, I've experienced this among my students as well when they come to me and say about eco-anxiety. That's the first time I actually heard about it, when one of them was talking about it. Mm-hmm. And it really set me thinking. I would say the first thing is there are just two things, according to me, that needs to be done. One is being out there in nature, enjoying it and trying to understand it and the benefits that it gives us. So just generating this love for nature. And I think eco-anxiety, also comes from the fact that most of these young people, they do feel very strongly about it. So, but having this love for nature, but at the same time, realizing that every small step counts, right? So every individual action counts, right? So we can't really change the whole world as individuals, yeah? But we can certainly influence or change our circle of influence. So it might be, my own family, my siblings, my parents, yeah? So this is what we need to work on and hope that in turn influences more circles of influence. So I think this is how, we can really work, by being part of a network and by saying, I'm doing my bit and I'm doing everything possible that I can, both personally and maybe in my professional life as well. And that's one of the ways I would say to, take a step forward.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so everyone should start from themselves, right? So I should start from myself, what I can change in my lifestyle. And then definitely my circle of influence will see, okay, so let's say Dhananjay is doing these things. So why not to learn and why not to emulate that? Perfect. So, but what happened generally is currently we are in information age. So there is a lot of information being bombarded on us. So whether to do this or that, so always there is some confusion. So according to you, what a common person, so whether that person is educated in environment or not, means in specialization I'm talking. So what are the suggestions from your side? So what an ordinary person can do to contribute towards the environment or to become the pro towards environment?
I don't think one needs to study environmental sciences, to be concerned about or do something about the environment. If you look back at Indian culture, it's always been a culture of frugality, and that's been our tradition. So frugality is not meant to be seen as, poverty. But today, frugality, I think, would be the mantra for sustainability. So it's on the little ways that we reflect on how we live. So one could begin by reflecting on how I live, how many resources I use, what are the choices that I make when I buy. Do I think about recyclability? Do I think about people, planet, and profit? Yeah, do I know where my things come from? Does it foster sustainability in the sense of, does it make somebody's life better? So all of these things, are extremely important. And these are small decisions that we can make by bringing in thoughtfulness, into our own life. So I think that's what is important. I had an opportunity just a couple of days ago to be on the same stage as Rayabai Popre. And if you know, she's was awarded the Padma Shri last year by the Prime Minister, by Honorable Prime Minister, for conserving indigenous varieties of seeds. So she comes from a small village in Ahmednagar, and it was really fascinating to hear her speak about food, and the way she connected the quality of seeds to the quality of our life. So that's it. I mean, it's as simple as that. She's doing what she can, conserving seeds, ensuring that we have a better crop, a better food crops, to feed us, in turn reducing the poison that we put into our body. So it's these small things that's extremely important. I think when we say, what is it that I can do in my own life? So it's reflection in the choices that we make in how we live our life. I would say we should begin with that.
Right. Yes. So yeah, so we should, every one of us should think about what are our choices that we daily make, what we can change, the easiest one at the first, and then we can go ahead and we can change some bigger things in the future as well, with the hope of that.